Colors are a part of everyone's lives, but what do they really mean? Do they mean anything? Well, I'm about to tell you the historic value of colors, their meaning, and how they use them in your everyday life. You want to make a good impression on your first date? There's a color for that. Want to nail that job interview? There's a color for that too. But first, let's dive into the origin of color and how older civilizations identified them. I'm going to give you an example that I'm sure we're all familiar with wearing black to funerals. I mean, why? It's already such a sad event. Why not wear a bright orange floral dress? The answer is complicated. Wearing black to a funeral makes sense to us because we live in the US. North America and Europe is where black is predominantly worn. According to the Daily Star, wearing black to funerals has been a tradition since the Roman Empire. Many civilizations adopted the color as the color of mourning to show sadness and respect to the dead. Now, here's a little history lesson for you. Wearing black became the common practice after Prince Albert's passing in 1861. Queen Victoria adorned the color black, honoring her status as a widow until her own passing 40 years later. So, is this the color of death worldwide? Short answer no. Many different countries have many different colors worn to funerals. Surveys taken from funeral homes worldwide have shown the different colors for funerals in different parts of the world. In East Asia and parts of Europe, white is the color for mourning and loss. This started in the 16th century when bereaved children and unmarried women adorned the color. When Mary, Queen of Scots, lost so many of her family members very quickly, a story for another time, she started wearing white. This became tradition, signifying purity, rebirth, and mourning. Now, black and white aren't the only two options, though. In South Africa, it's red, symbolizing the apartheid era, which was a time of racial segregation and honoring the bloodshed of that time. In South America and Thailand, the color, believe it or not, is purple. This symbolizes the respect shown to the dead since the color is associated with royalty, and there's even some superstition about the color being unlucky if worn outside of mourning. Colors are so ingrained in our cultures that sometimes we forget the gravity of them, how deep in history they go, how these traditions started, and why we continue to follow these social expectations to this day. I bet you're thinking, why do I care? Well, colors can be used to your advantage as well. We all know the sayings, never judge a book by its cover, and the contradictory one, first impressions are everything. We're all guilty of judging, whether intentionally or not. So, how can we send the right subliminal messages? Colors. That's how.